Hello, my name is Alex Mercer. People call me monster, murderer, a terrorist. I'm all of those things. But the one thing I will not stand for this toleration throughout my city is zombies and the military and the man that is responsible for all of this. He's the one who's responsible for the zombie outbreak. He's the one that controls the city with the military. He's the one that gave me these powers. And I will not stop looking for this guy until I have what I need to know. My name is Alex Mercer, signing off. Welcome back to another episode of the Lincoln Williams Show. My name is Lincoln Williams, and today I'm going to be talking to you about another superhero game known as Prototype. Prototype is one of those games that you just got to look at and you got to say, is this game trying to copy something? Yes, it did a while back. Prototype copied like the Incredible Hulk. It was the same developers, but only I think they added the same city, but they added like a new character, a new story, like new superhero powers and all that, stuff. Now, the thing is, though, that Prototype is one of the most sickest games I've ever played. Now, Prototype I've been playing like a lot of, like for the past couple of days. It's so like sick to run around New York City with these unique superpowers and punch up bad guys in the face and grab the military weapons, take out helicopters and all that, cool stuff that's like in this game. And one of these powers are like, they're like really like, some of the powers are like really gory at sometimes, but it actually is really sick to get like all these powers and like just dominate everything, like the zombie apocalypse, like in the like the bad guy military and all that stuff. And it's actually really cool like to see Alex Mercer like do all these things, because he's one of the most sickest superheroes that I've ever seen in a video game. He looks like one of the assassins from Assassin's Creed, basically. He looks like Ezio at sometimes, like in the front. He has that Ezio look, but only like in the future. So that's really cool. I mean, if you wanted to see what an Assassin's Creed game would look like, this is your best bet with superhero powers. I mean, this is the futuristic Assassin's Creed type gameplay that you're going to get out of a superhero video game. So let's talk about the storyline. Alex Mercer, a normal kid in New York City, just gets infected with this genotype like virus, like running through his veins, and I think it's known as the prototype, basically, like the prototype like gene, basically, and he has these really unique superhero powers, like the whip, basically, like his arm is basically like a giant whip. And it's really cool. I mean, this is my favorite weapon in the game so far. I mean, it can just dominate like 15 soldiers in one swoop. I am not even kidding. I mean, it can like take out 15 soldiers in one swoop. Oh yeah, you can also use guns in this game. I really love the guns, but there's only like a few guns in the game that you can use on like helicopters, monsters, all that stuff. Oh yeah, there's a conspiracy around Prototype, basically like having these like aliens. I did not know in Prototype. Well, I did know from the beginning, but I did not know there was going to be like actual events that people are going to be like infected and
like turning into zombies and all that stuff. I mean, I really did not know that about Prototype, so that's really cool, and it's actually really amazing because the only way to get rid of the virus is like the building that's like causing the infection, and everything will just go back to normal. I mean, that wouldn't happen in a normal zombie apocalypse, but hey, it doesn't in Prototype, so yay, you can stop the virus in any time you want. Anyway, yeah, there's like 2 enemies in the game: the military, the bad military, and the what else? The zombie apocalypse, like these weird monsters that are like trying to kill you. They look like one of the monsters from like Infamous 2. Basically, it's actually really cool to see these like all these monster types from Infamous again, because that was like a really sick game. But this game is like sicker than Infamous. I'm not even kidding. It's so like, you know, sick to run around with these like unique superpowers. So what is there like? So the military, they're trying to like consume Alex Mercer's powers, but the military can't pull it off yet because Alex Mercer is like a really powerful person, and they can't like get to him because right now I am using the whip to destroy helicopters, because I can reach the helicopters. I can like punch them right out of the sky. I mean, it's really sick to watch. And I'm all like, oh my gosh, did I really do that? You get those feelings that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so sick. I can't believe I did this. Yeah, so basically, they have some really ridiculous powers in Prototype. I am not even kidding. It's so cool to see all these superpowers in Prototype. So if you want to check out all this unique superpowers, on Prototype, what they look like, go to youtube.com, but I'm going to be explaining to them right now. The first weapon up is we have the claws. The claws are basically like bear claws, like X-Men claws. You can usually like slice your enemies like in half, basically. Actually, that is kind of like disgusting at times, but it actually is kind of a cool tactic if you're like, you know, up against like, you know, many waves of enemies like in crowds or basically like that. So that's actually a really cool tactic. Up next we have the Rock Hulk fists. Now the Rock fists are basically like Hulk fists, where you can just like smash into the ground. And every time I use these, I say this like many times throughout my playthrough: Hulk smash, and I'm like, Hulk smash military copter. It actually is really cool to like me actually saying that throughout my like playthroughs of like Prototype and all that stuff. So I'm all like smashing like enemies and all that cool stuff. And up next we got the whip. I already told you about that. It could take out like 15 enemies at a time, and it's actually really cool to, you know, watch. Okay, so what else? I think that's all about it. Oh yeah, there's also side activities where you can do like a foot running mechanic. But why would you do a foot running mechanic so that, like, why would you do a foot running mechanic where a virus is like infecting billions and billions of people right over there? I mean, there's so much activities going on in this game. So you got foot running, you can go you can disguise yourself as like a military officer and consume other military officers. It's so sick. Oh yeah, the consuming. One of the most unique things about Prototype that I haven't seen in a video game and for like ever is like consuming random people. Like you can consume anyone in the entire city, anyone, including like old people, like old dudes, basically. I mean, old dudes are really cool because they can, like, because I'm, like, acting as an old dude. Like, I'm going into the military base. I'm acting like an old man. I'm walking really slow. And like, a guard comes up and is like, "Sir, what are you doing here?" And I'm like, "Surprise, sucker!" So I'm, like, kicking him in the face. It's actually really hilarious to, like, see that. And, like, an old man is, like, conquering this, like, military base with no sweat at all. It's because of the superhero powers anyway. It's actually really cool to become like an old man and have like ninjutsu powers and all that stuff, and he knows like kung fu, and it actually is a really cool tactic to use on the military. It actually is a really cool tactic, so I highly recommend that you do that. You will enjoy Prototype that like I did, like when like doing that. It is hilarious to like do that in Prototype. So make sure to check that out. It's really fun, you guys, to dress up as anyone, walk into a military base, and kick some butt. So basically, yeah, that's I think that's all about Prototype. Did I leave everything out? Oh yeah, when you there's many specific people that you have to consume to access memories just to get a little bit more data information about the storyline. Now the storyline is basically these multiple events where Alex Mercer would get these weird superhero powers, and there's like this. I mean, I never thought I saw this coming, but I heard that there's going to be a Fallout war, like in the middle of the game, and it's all like, whoa. So there's going to be like zombies versus the military versus Alex Mercer. So it's going to be really sick to like, see all this, and it's all like, dude, this is going to be the most epic video game like ever. So, well, actually, it isn't, because the city isn't, like, polished, but basically, though, I think Prototype is a very solid superhero game. So, what do I get? So, the weapons. I already explained the weapons, but there's also, like, a muscle weapon where you can throw like 10 times the weight, so that's always a plus. And you can actually throw it farther at helicopters. Actually, you can like chuck people, like you can actually like chuck military soldiers at their own helicopters, and they will actually blow up. I'm not even kidding. It's actually really sick to watch. It actually is really hilarious, too, to throw military soldiers at the walls. I mean, you can do this with anyone, but I like to say military soldiers because they're the bad guys and the zombies are the bad guys here. And, oh yeah, you know what is even more sick? You're gonna love this when I speak this out right out of my mouth. It's like, you could take like a normal infected zombie, consume it, and get full health. What? That is the most sickest thing I have ever seen. It's like, give me zombie brains. It's like, whoop. And you like reach in there, and it's not, well, the body just like goes into your own body, and it's actually really sick to watch. So that's one of the most unique things that you can actually do in Prototype, is like consume like monsters and zombies and all that cool stuff. It's really sick to watch, and I'm loving the crap out of this game so far. I mean, it's really sick to watch all these really unique powers under your disposal, and like take out your enemies however you want. You can go guns and blazing, like get a gun but there's no like reload. So the guns will run out of ammo really fast unless you get an upgrade for them. So that's one of the most unique things. So anyway, the final verdict for Prototype. For me, for now, I think it's gonna be like an 8 out of 10 because the city isn't really all that polished. In some ways, like you've seen these textures before, like in Spider-Man 2 or something like that, but the game overall is just amazing. It isn't perfect, but I mean, like the polished city and the storyline, I mean, I would give it like a 9 out of 10 if it had like more side activities that made more sense to the entire Prototype like series, but overall, I give it an 8 out of 10 because what you can do in this game is ridiculous. And that's one of the things that I love about Prototype is how much freedom that you can do in this world. You can even pick up cars with your bare hands. It is so insane to watch and throw them at like a crowd of people or something like that. So yeah, it's actually really insane what you can do in Prototype. So anyways, it's an 8 out of 10. It's a great game, and I highly recommend it to any superhero fan or superhero gamer. And yeah, it's a ridiculous game here, you guys. And if you want to check out more gameplay footage and more reviews about Prototype, check out Angry Joe's channel to get more information about that. So yeah, so that is Prototype in a nutshell, and it's a really great game, you guys, and I'm so far I'm loving it. I'll be back someday, YouTubers.